Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to Spider-Man Week. Day 2, we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite series, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Electro, part of the Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure wave. So here we are with the second figure in the Green Goblin wave of Marvel Legends Infinite series Spider-Man action figures. And today we'll take a look at Marvel's Electro featured in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is of course based off of his movie design as opposed to a comic design, because he is technically the main villain in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of them in it. That being said, he looks almost nothing like his comic book appearance. And that's a good thing, because honestly, this costume design is stupid. This one looks pretty good, though the resemblance to the actual actor playing Electro in the movie is not really there. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Packaging has a slight modification from the Spawn of Symbiotes that I looked at yesterday. It does have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 logo, the Amazing Spider-Man logo, and a picture of the Amazing Spider-Man on it, as opposed to just comic Spider-Man. Plus, it says Marvel's Electro. This is a single figure. He has no variants. Excuse me. No variants here. Marvel's Electro, this electricity-wielding villain bends high-voltage current at will and has brought New York City to its knees. I don't know if that's spoilers for the movie. Hasn't come out yet. But it is coming out soon. And you can see here the lineup of figures in the wave. 3 figures have variants, 3 don't. Interesting enough. So without further ado, let's crack open Marvel's Electro and take a look and see if he is better than he seems in packaging. And maybe he'll look less like one of the Blue Man group when we open him. Let's take a look. Alright, so here we have Marvel's Electro, or just Electro. Apparently there's multiple trademarks for Electro out there. Anyways, this is the first figure that's normal size as opposed to being beefy like Toxin was, and actually includes legitimate accessories that aren't Build-A-Figure pieces. Again, something I'm not used to in the realm of collecting DC figures that come with no accessories, that are online exclusives and cost a lot more than these guys. It's kind of dumb when you think about it that way. Anyways, taking a look at Electro here. The design, again, I haven't seen the movie, because, it's not out yet. But it doesn't really look like the design from the movie as much, maybe because we've only really seen him with the cloak. But that face looks nothing like Jamie Foxx. I mean, nothing. Not even like the design. It seems like this was designed off of an early form of the costume at one point. It doesn't look like him at all. It doesn't. He looks like a member of the Blue Man group. Like, even more so than Dr. Manhattan. He actually looks more like Dr. Manhattan than the Mattel Watchmen Dr. Manhattan figure looked. Which is sad. But yeah, it doesn't really look like the costume may be spot on, but that face sculpt, it just doesn't look like him. So, for all continuing argument, this is new Electro to me. He's not from the movie, he's just a better looking Electro. Honestly, I'm getting more electricity vibe from this guy. And he doesn't have giant lightning bolts on his face. But that being said, the figure is nice. It is a good body mold, possibly retoolable, and does include a few things, which is nice. But first off, let's get the articulation out of the way. It's got a ball joint neck, full-on movement that includes popping his head off, outward shoulder movement that is restricted by these little nubs, 360 shoulders, bicep rotation, a double jointed elbow that works better than Toxin's, wrist articulation all over the place, ab crunch clicks when you go back for some reason, waist joint, universal hip joints, thigh swivel, double jointed knee, boot rotation, and the full Hasbro standard 6-inch ankle joint now. Overall, really cool articulation-wise. So detail-wise, he does include accessories. I really want to swap out the accessories first. First, he has alternate hands, where you get non-electrified fists, which look really nice with the standard head, because he's not using any of his powers at the moment. And honestly, now that that distraction's out of the way, how does this work as a base figure? Well, he's admittedly a little boring at first glance, but you do notice some cool things. The nice airbrush effect on his chest, throughout his shoulders. The arms are airbrushed as well, because they leave a little bit of paint. Kind of works with that electricity theme. A lot of actual molded detail on the black here. It's just not very noticeable. It's got combat boots, it seems. Knee pads. Elbow pads. The detail on the back is really nice. But because it's all black and then there's just this distracting blue, you don't really notice any of this until you take a closer look at the figure. Which does make him a little bland, admittedly. He doesn't jump out as much as he could. All these little nubs for electricity ports or something. I have no idea, but yeah, he is a little bland looking. Admittedly, though, you know, when you have him like this, he kind of sucks. I don't really like the figure like this. Now, when you get him all electrified, which is easy to do, first off, this head can be removed, and this head can be popped on, very simply, with electricity coming from his eyes, and extra electrical effects through the clear plastic. Overall, I think this head sculpt looks better, but he still looks like if Dr. Manhattan joined the Blue Man Group. Just saying. And the electrified hands, which are also clear plastic, just look really cool because he's got fingers and he's shooting out electricity. Kind of like a Sith Lord. Kind of really need a 6-inch Star Wars Emperor Palpatine to have hands similar. Because, well, that looks pretty cool. Now, that being said, posing him is kind of awkward. Because of the cuffs around his pants near his boots, it does make it hard to get most of his ankle articulation going, which means splayed out poses are a little difficult. But I do like to kind of pose him where he's kind of like casting electricity into the air a bit, or straight in front of him. I actually kind of like that probably the most, is him kind of like leaning over, just like electrocuting people without really looking at them. But yeah, taking a look at this figure as a 3D turnaround, he's overall not really that impressive. He is kind of just black and blue, and not much else. He doesn't replicate the movie design as well as he could, and it's just kind of boring, especially compared to Toxin, who was really cool and had less molded detail and less paint apps. But overall, for an Electro figure, I guess it's pretty good. It's just kind of boring. And yeah, there's not much you can do about it. So overall, I can't really recommend this figure on his own. Mostly because he just doesn't excite me. He doesn't do anything exciting. He's not electrifying. He's just kind of boring. But what's not boring is his Build-A-Figure piece, which would be the left arm of the Green Goblin. If you couldn't tell, this is a very different version of the Green Goblin. And overall, this is the main reason I got this figure. Oh, also this, because it comes with fire that we can just clip on right now. Because fire just makes everything better. But yeah, this is the main reason I got this figure. And honestly, taking him out of the box didn't really improve him all that much. And that's a shame. But that being said, I can recommend him if you're trying to complete Green Goblin. But if you're not, he's really easily passable. He's one of the more common figures of the wave, but not as common as some others. Superior Spider-Man. And I did get mine at a good discount because there was a Kmart in town that was closing, so I got mine for 30% off, along with 3 other figures in this line. And man, did I get lucky with that. But, that being said, the first of the two movie-styled figures in this wave did not impress me at all. Maybe the second one will do better, so stay tuned tomorrow when we take a look at the Amazing Spider-Man himself. Anyways, stay tuned for more Spider-Man Week. Be sure to check out HeroTaku.com for all your Marvel Comics news and more. Until next time, saying, goodbye.